everyone, it's Jenna here over from A Balanced Belly. For those of you that don't know me, I run a health, lifestyle, gut health type blog for those that are wanting to kind of find out more about their gut and improve their general health and wellness and kind of just live a balanced life. I have Crohn's disease myself, so a lot of the content on there is about inflammatory bowel disease, but hopefully these tips will be useful for whatever kind of gut issue that you're dealing with. You're going to have to excuse the little dog on my lap. I've filmed this probably is my 10th attempt and she keeps wandering on into the frame, so I'm just going to keep her here and hope that that keeps her quiet and settled. So before I begin, I just want to tell you a little bit about my book. I'm going to do a little bit of self-promotion. So this book, Managing Inflammatory Bowel Disease, I released it last week and it's getting some really good feedback so far. But if you have got inflammatory bowel disease, this might be worth picking up because it kind of covers a lot of the stuff that I'll touch on very briefly today. But it's all about living a balanced lifestyle with inflammatory bowel disease. So it includes things like travel, work, dealing with anxiety, talking to your doctor, nutrition and so on. So I'm going to just leave a link to where you can buy that below and I'm going to start today's video. So I'm going to divide this into 3 sections. Today I am not feeling great. I find I'm on azathioprine for my Crohn's disease and I find that keeps things ticking over. I'm just going to touch wood because you just never know with IBD, but if I still have to make choices in terms of like stress and getting sleep and looking after my food and looking after my diet, and if those fall apart, then I find that my symptoms really increase. So for me it's all about a balancing act, and these are the kinds of things I do if I don't feel well and I need to kind of get myself back on track. I would say that obviously we're all different, and the first port of call for anyone should always be the doctor if you're not feeling well. And for me, the IBD nurses that I have from having Crohn's disease are amazing. They're such a good resource. So, you know, this is not going to replace that in any way, shape or form. So I'm going to start with lifestyle. So the first things I do in terms of lifestyle are, number 1, I completely cancel any plans. I know that sounds unrealistic. This dog is doing my head in. I'm so sorry. So cancel plans. So what I found, it's taken me a while to figure this out. I've had Crohn's for 3 years, but having a day where you do nothing, not going into work, means I can recover so much more quicker than going into work. I'm a teacher, as well as writing and doing some nutrition stuff, and going into work when you're not feeling 100% and it's such an intensive job anyway, it just means that everything gets dragged out. So the first thing I try and do is cancel any plans. For me, it's quite hard when my laptop and phone are always nearby because obviously social media and my blog is kind of what I do. So the next thing that I really love to do to help is focusing with a colouring book. I really think with the mind, obviously there's only so much the mind can do, but I do think if you're focusing on one thing, it can really take your mind off the pain. Because another thing that really helps me is just really simply stopping for a few minutes. I do like to do yoga, but when I'm having a day where I'm just not feeling it at all, just sitting and practicing abdominal breathing, which is kind of when you, I mean you can Google it I'm sure, but when you kind of breathe, focusing on your abdominal muscles, so you're breathing in and kind of filling the stomach with air, and then you're breathing out and kind of expelling all of that air. But doing that, yoga, and even maybe just setting a timer and just sitting for a few minutes, really beneficial as well. So kind of cutting off, taking time to slow down. The final thing I do is obviously, which everyone does, is a hot water bottle, and I'm really gutted because I got everything ready for this video and I cannot find the hot water bottle that I wanted to show you, which is like a wraparound hot water bottle. It's called a UU bottle, and I did a Facebook competition about 4 months or so ago with them. And they're amazing. They're kind of fastened around the back, so you can walk around with the hot water bottle, because that's one thing I used to really struggle with. You'd stand up and the water bottle falls over. So those are the things I do in lifestyle terms, you know, really cutting off, hot water bottle, lots of rest, focusing the mind, breathing, colouring book. Now let's look what I do in terms of food. So the first thing I do in terms of food is bone broth. Now, this has been around for years, but it's kind of become trendy at the moment. But really, bone broth is used in lots of countries for a kind of traditional remedy to kind of help rest the gut and heal it. So I find this really beneficial. Bone broth is going to have lots of amino acids and glutamine, which can help heal the gut, but it also is just giving your gut a break while you're still getting some nutrients. I literally just put this on the pan, and then I I drink it from a mug, but you can obviously add it to soups and things like that as well. So that's the first thing. In fact, I had that for breakfast this morning, which I know sounds strange, but I just could not focus on anything else I could be doing. The next thing I do in terms of food is reach for herbal teas. Now, this is natural to me because I've never drunk coffee or tea, but I know that some people obviously find that harder. But I would say, you know, that coffee can move things through the gut a lot quicker because it kind of moves, helps with the gut traction. Is that the right word? Like through the gut. Anyway, so I use like herbal teas. So at the moment I'm using this fennel one, but most of the time peppermint, fennel, chamomile, ginger is really, really helpful to me. The next thing that I try to increase is I turn to sauerkraut. Now, probiotics, as I'm sure you've heard, is really helpful for guts, and I get a lot of suggestions about what probiotic to try. But I feel like if you're in a flare, you know, the bacteria of the gut is so fragile that you really don't want to disturb it by chucking a load of probiotics at it. So sauerkraut has been really helpful for me. It's dairy-free source of probiotic, which is great as well. And I'll literally just add a little bit to dinner, or even just drink the liquid from it. It can really help with probiotics and getting a bit of goodness into your health. And then in terms of the kind of supplements I take, the first thing I would do is kind of up my turmeric, because I'm a massive turmeric lover anyway. So in terms of turmeric, most of the time I will just make a hot drink with it, so ginger and turmeric and hot water. Some of the time I'll add it to smoothies because it really doesn't taste of anything, but if I'm feeling particularly unwell, I might remind myself to take my turmeric supplements. Now, I take these ones at the moment, they're Healthspan Opti Turmeric. There's so many different ones on the market and there's so much conflicting information. Like, these are water-based, some of them aren't water-based, but they have biopurine, which is black pepper, which can really help the turmeric absorption. I'm not sure I'd recommend one over the other, but these seem to be great for me at the moment and they're fine, so I'll take those. And I'll also take fish oil. So, you know, fish oil can be really anti-inflammatory. These are things that I've already taken before. I would not suggest that you buy them all and take them all together, but these are just things to think about when you're having a flare. So these can help with inflammation, and I take these 7 C's ones because they also have vitamin D. I'm going to link a blog post about vitamin D because that can be really beneficial for your immune system and gut health. And they found that so many people with IBD and even IBS have lower levels of vitamin D. But sometimes I might just, rather than taking those, especially if I'm worried about taking too many supplements, because that you don't want to be chucking loads of things at it, I'll just take a teaspoon of the Omega Blend oil. This has got like flax seeds and hemp oil and those kinds of things. So those are things that maybe you'd like to try if you're not feeling too well and you want to try something new. But I wouldn't recommend going out there buying all the fish oil, all the turmeric, all the supplements at once, because your gut is a fragile thing and obviously you need to learn what works for it. In terms of the diet I follow when I'm feeling like this, I just try to keep it as simple and as natural as possible. So lots of bone broth. Chicken and fish are good sources of protein and I seem to do well with them, so I'll cook those. Sweet potato or normal potato seems to work well for me, just keeping it really simple. Juicing is something that I write a lot about on my blog, and that can also help me when I'm just feeling like vegetables aren't going to work digestion wise, so juicing them or blending them in a smoothie can really help me too. I hope these tips are useful. This is just the start of my YouTube channel, hopefully, and I'd like to hear any suggestions you have. You know, if this is viable to keep going, if people want to watch these kinds of videos, or whether, I do appreciate some people prefer to read it and kind of take in the information that way. Some people don't want to scroll through a blog post, and this might be more helpful. So any suggestions you have or any feedback would be amazing, and let me know what you want to see next. I've just finished my nutritional therapy qualification, so I now offer like nutrition services for people with gut health, but I would like to do something around those, like maybe videos on nutrition Q&A or talking about different vitamins that your body needs when you've got gut issues. Let me know what you'd like to see. Give this a big thumbs up and any comments below would be amazing. Thanks very much and see you later. Bye.